for some analysis on the situation. I'm joined here by France 24's international affairs commentator, Doug Herbert. Doug Raisi himself is seen as a hardliner. Even as president, though, he's going to have a boss, Supreme Leader Khamenei, also been fairly pessimistic about prospects for this deal in recent days.
Yeah, especially in recent days. Look, Khamenei is all roads lead to the Supreme Leader in Iran. So, yes, you have a new incoming president, Ebrahim Raisi. He is a hardliner, but ultimately he is also beholden to the will of Khamenei. So anything that Khamenei says is significant. And last week, we saw him convene a meeting, a very rare meeting, where you had the president and all of his cabinet, the outgoing president, Hassan Rouhani, basically all sitting there. And it was a rebuke to the president that they had trusted the West too much, that really what we have to be very wary of the West, because we've seen what's happened with these talks in the past. The 2015 deal, we know what it was about, right? It was about Iran curbing its nuclear activities, that is especially its nuclear enrichment, uranium enrichment activities, in return for a lifting of very onerous sanctions on Iran. Well, that happened briefly until Donald Trump in 2018, we all know the rest of that story, withdrew unilaterally from that pact, and ever since the story's been the same. Iraq basically really bending on these economic sanctions. What Khamenei has done, we had talked about the talks, which have been the indirect talks have been suspended since June 20th, and there had been some progress made, but a lot of differences remaining, and basically you have a situation right now with Khamenei accusing the West of being stubborn, and the main thing he's saying is, you want us to be part of this deal, both sides have to play fair here. And notably, U.S., rescind your sanctions, then we'll talk. And also, he's saying to the West, how could we have any guarantee that the next president isn't going to rip up any deal that we come back to? So basically, he's taking a harder line, but it's really not that much different than the line he's been taking in the past. It's just that he's publicly saying it now, and the timing is significant because it's coming literally a few days before the new incoming, his own protege, hardline president, is about to take power. So a signal that the talks are likely to become tougher before they become easier.
Indeed. Now, all this comes amid a new flare-up between Iran and Israel, this one over a tanker attack off the coast of Oman this past week. Where does that leave this whole situation?
Yeah, no, we've seen these tit-for-tat, these attacks, against shipping, commercial shipping in the region. This one was off of Oman, as you said. It was last Thursday, and what it was it was an Israeli, a ship operated by an Israeli firm that was the target of a drone attack. And since then, the U.S. and U.K. have pointed the finger directly at Iran, saying Iran is to blame. Israel, obviously, behind saying that it completely corroborates the allegations that this is an Iranian attack against commercial shipping in the region. Iran, we need to say, has been absolutely denying this. And I want to hear just what a spokesman for Iran's foreign ministry has said in response to these allegations that it's responsible for the drone attack, which killed, I will note, 2 people, the first known fatal fatalities in this type of assault on commercial shipping.
All right.
Whoever sows the wind shall reap the whirlwind. The Islamic Republic of Iran will not hesitate one moment to protect the interests of its people and its national security.
So once again, just to reiterate, Iran calling these baseless allegations by the U.S. and U.K. and especially Israel, but it is, once again, the latest example of what is really an escalating shadow war between Iran and Israel.
Indeed, ongoing there. Well, with regards to the nuclear deal, can we take a look at the other side of the table? How has the Biden administration been reacting to the latest talk out of Iran?
The Biden administration basically says that it's Iran that has not been playing by the rules, that it has been violating the international law, that it has been hard at work. Basically, centrifuges are spinning at full throttle again, that uranium enrichment is ramping up, and Iran's basically saying, well, it's the U.S. that violated the pact by pulling out under Donald Trump right now. So the Biden administration's official line is it is ready to return to the talks at any time, but Iran has to play by the rules. The problem from Iran's perspective with the Biden administration is it doesn't just want to get the revived nuclear deal. It wants to broaden the existing pact to include Iran's missile development activities and also what the U.S. sees as Iran's very aggressive behavior across the region with proxies in the Middle East from Syria to Libya to Iraq. So these are all, you see, never the twain shall meet. The two sides are very far apart on some very fundamental ways of seeing this deal and what it's about.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see what comes with that new incoming president. France 24's Douglas Herbert, international commentator. Thanks very much for that insight.